Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we're going to be talking about how to implement the Shadow of the Serpent expansion into your G.I. Joe the deck building game. So in this episode I'm only going to be covering the gameplay changes that come with this expansion. If you are interested in a how to play video for the entirety of the G.I. Joe deck building game, you can check out the video that's going to be popping up in the upper right corner right now. It's not the best rule book, but it's a pretty straightforward game. Hopefully that previous video can help get you up to speed rather quickly. These few rule changes here are just for if you have picked up the Shadow of Serpent expansion. So one of the biggest things that they have added is group items. All right, so these are items. These are going to be big ticket items that you can purchase, similar to how other Joes can join you on a group mission. Group items, other Joes, if you're playing with other characters or multi-handed, if you're playing solo, they can contribute their resource power, their purchasing power, to help you purchase these items. Now those cards are discarded, they don't get to play them, just like if they send a Joe on one of your group missions, they don't get that Joe back. That Joe is discarded and they simply play with less cards on their next turn. So it's pretty straightforward. What you're looking for here are the kind of wings, you know, almost lieutenant bars here on either side of the purchase. So let's just take, for example, here is a standard card. See, there's no wings. All right, these two are two of the most obvious ones. These are the two transports that come with this expansion. They are, obviously big ticket items. It would be very difficult to get to 8 and 9 purchasing power just by yourself, respectively. So if you want to purchase these, you can get help from other people you are playing with. I'll note here that Hawk, who is one of the included leaders, helps with that. His special ability is +4 purchasing power when buying group items. However, you are reducing this number by 1 for each other player in the game. So this is a way to scale when you're playing solo or just 2 players, because playing solo, obviously, you don't have anybody else to contribute. So he's definitely beefed up and enables you to purchase these items if you're playing just one-handed. The other big thing that you can purchase as a group item is going to be your command center tiles. We're going to talk about those next. But just so you know, those are the two biggest things that you're going to see purchased, but I'm assuming they're going to be including group items more in future expansions. Up next with this expansion, we have the command center. This is actually an assortment of some cardboard tiles here that you will start most games. You will start with them flipped over like this. And this is one of my gripes here. But they'll all be flipped over like this. And there you go. And as you can see, there is some group items. As group items, you can purchase these command tiles, flipping them over. Okay. As you flip them over, these are going to give you bonuses to utilize throughout the game. So very quickly, let's talk about what those bonuses provide you, because I really like this whole implementation. I really like the command center implementation and what it can do for you. So I'm just going to go left to right here. The repair bay allows you to take a transport, and instead of having to shuffle it back into your hand, your discard pile, and then have to wait for it to come back into your hand via your main deck, you simply place it here, and at the end of the round, so if you are the last character to go, last hero to go in a round, you are immediately going to get it back. Basically, at the end of the round, all the vehicles that are in the repair bay go back to the hangar. So super nice way to just know when your vehicles are going to come back. Basically, you'll get to use every vehicle once per round. But again, you have to purchase the repair bay to be able to use it. Up here at the top, we have a laser cannon. This simply gives you 1 additional die to roll on any side mission. So again, if you have paid for that and you're going on a side mission, you get to roll an extra die. Down here we have the stockade, and I think technically in the picture these are supposed to sit like this, but that's fine. We have the stockade. This one is very nice because anytime you defeat a Cobra officer, so that's going to be your named characters like Zartan, Baroness, Firefly, Cobra Commander, Storm Shadow. This is handy because you can place those officers into the stockade, and if a a complication comes out or requests that you put a random one out or a named one specifically, they're stuck in the stockade. That complication card now has no effect. What it does not block, however, except due to story mission text. So for example, in mission 3 here, which is Rise of Serpentor here's just the finale of Act 1, put Destro and Dr. Mindbender into play. If a story mission card reads putting somebody specific into play, they would get to escape from the stockade. But it's a way to keep them from just randomly popping up via complication cards. Up next, we have the command room, probably my favorite of the rooms, and that literally, as long as you have a clean command center, and it says if none of them are covered, which we'll talk about here in a second. So you don't have to have the entire command center unlocked, just nothing covered. So if this is the first one you flip over, as long as it's not covered, you're good to go. But it allows you to draw up to a hand of 6 or 1 additional card. Other game effects may change that, but starting with 6 cards instead of 5 every turn is a huge bonus. And last but not least, here we have the battle station, which it gives you 1 reroll on a die during a group mission. So side mission gets you 1 additional die, group mission gets you 1 reroll. And those are all the bonuses that the command center can give you once you have flipped them over, once you have purchased them. Now, so we talked about covering up the command center and how that could happen. So along with this expansion, you're going to get a new set of troopers, and these are Cobra troopers, similar to the ones in the base game, which look like this. But these guys are ninjas, and their main purpose is to infiltrate your command center. All right. So if you're ever told to add a Cobra trooper to your command center, you're going to take one and you're going to place it to begin with on first the highest cost room that is available. So that would be the command room here first. So you would place it there first, and the Cobra Trooper now renders that room useless. All right, they have infiltrated. Until you break in and kick them out, you can't use the command room. Now, if the command room was, say, flipped over, hadn't been purchased yet, maybe it's the stockade or maybe it's the battle station, something like that. And if at any point, let's just give an example here. Say you haven't flipped over all of them and all of them that are available are covered up. If a Cobra Trooper Ninja is supposed to go into the command center and there's no place for them to go, they go in front of you as a side mission. All right. And again, they're going to give you +1 to the threat track at the end of your turn. So that is Cobra Ninja Troopers and how they work. For the most part, they're just going to block up your command center tiles, keeping you from being able to use them. Now, if, like, say, for example, you've got some vehicles in the repair bay and a Cobra Trooper Ninja is placed there, these do not get to come back out. You can't put any in and nothing can come out. Everything that is in there is stuck. Okay? However, if you've got people in the stockade, I'm just using that as an example, the Cobra Trooper does not release them. They just stay in the stockade, but again, you can't put anybody into the stockade. All right? If, however, taking these guys away, some game effects will tell you to destroy a room of the command center. In that situation, you generally get to choose, but if you have to destroy the repair bay, all right, any transports that are in here automatically go back to the hangar. You don't lose them. They're not destroyed. And any Cobra officers that are in the stockade get returned to their respective decks, so they escape. Okay, that makes a lot of thematic sense. Destroying the repair bay, though, I guess Joes knew it was coming. They knew you planted a bomb, and so they got all the vehicles out before you were able to blow it up. All right, before we continue on, I just want to talk about my really one gripe with this expansion is how they have gone about printing these the battle station here. And there's two things, and these are minor gripes, but I just wanted to get this off my chest. First of all, you can see here that the battle station flips on its short edge here. So when you want to flip it, you flip it like this, whereas these flip on their long edge. And so I'm constantly like going bloop, and oh, that's upside down. Bloop. Okay, no wait. Okay, there we go. The other thing is that your repair bay over here easily holds a card. You know, I can sit the card on there. Now they tell you to slide your card under the stockade, which is fine. They don't want you getting it confused if you have to put a Cobra Trooper on top. But why didn't they use this one as the stockade? Again, you could easily fit cards under here. That's fine if that's how you want to do it. Or if you can keep up with the fact that, you know, if you defeat a ninja on top, only take the top one. But instead, you're having to stick all these cards under here, and eventually you're like, you know, 2 or 3 of these are getting all cattywampus, and next thing you know, your command center is just flying off the rails. Literally, they took this huge right side and put the tiny little reroll 1 die on it. Why didn't they take this one with all this text and where you were going to be putting cards either underneath or on top of, put this on this side? It just baffles the mind how I literally picked up on that on my first playthrough. It bugged me from the very beginning. The flipping, the way it was printed, and the flipping on the long edge versus the short edge not being, you know, it's fine if it's one way or the other, but make it consistent. But yeah, why these two weren't switched just really baffles the mind that, you know, somebody over at Renegade missed this during their playthroughs, during their QC process. So, all right, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. All right, the last thing that I want to cover is really just an individual card that's included in the game. That's Serpentor himself. He is a Cobra officer, and especially if you are playing the Rise of Serpentor mission, you're going to see him a lot. He's going to come out a lot. And you'll notice here at the bottom, this is just something that I wasn't straightforward at the beginning, so I wanted to include it in this. It says here, for each Cobra Trooper under Serpentor, he has -1 difficulty, right? And I was like, well, how does that happen? And I ended up like putting a ton of Joes in, you know, getting a ton of, building up my stealth, taking him out at 9, and then he keeps coming back. But there are cards that specifically will say, you know, mission cards that if you fail or pass or both, to place a Cobra Trooper under him. You don't have to defeat said Cobra Trooper, and it's not if you defeat a Cobra Trooper, it goes under there. They're simply just card effects, and these are essentially counters. I don't know why they used Cobra Troopers per se, and not just like, you know, you have some of these counters over here. I've got a couple of them. They're kind of random, but that's just so you know, don't be confused by that. You will be specifically instructed to put Cobra Troopers under Serpentor. It'll be very obvious, and don't worry about having to try and figure that out until instructed to do so. All right, that's going to do it. Like I said, it's a very straightforward expansion, just really 2 kind of big additions to the rule set, along with more gear, lots of Joes, which is exciting. Just 2 transports, which was a little not exciting in my opinion, a little bit of a letdown. But then it's doubling the amount of missions, and the command center, I think, is a great addition to the game. I'm so about group purchasing because I mainly play solo, so it's like unless I want to play with Hawk as my leader, I'm never going to be able to purchase those. So yeah, I probably could have done without the group items, but definitely if you enjoyed G.I. Joe, the deck building game, this expansion is worth picking up simply for the more stuff in the command center, especially if you play group, because I feel like group, then the group items makes more sense, and so on and so forth. With that, we are going to do it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.